30 days ago, I said this: I'm gonna make a song a day for the next 30 days and post the whole process right here on YouTube. Now, if that doesn't sound a little bit insane to you, it means I need to think of a musical idea, write the melodies, write the lyrics, write the chords, record it, and produce it, all while filming and uploading every second of it to YouTube. Every single day. Now, why would anyone decide to do this? You see, ever since I made my first song 5 years ago, I've always struggled for consistency, and I've watched on as the best artists in the world make song after song while preaching that quality only comes through quantity.
It literally came from writing a song a day, or 2 songs a day, or 5 songs a day. View it as a dirty tap. When you switch the dirty tap on, it's going to flow shit water, and then clean water is going to start flowing.
So if I want to get to my best work, I've got to make a lot of stuff. And to make a lot of stuff, I've got to develop the habit of sitting down every single day. Making 30 songs in 30 days honestly felt like I was about to climb a mountain. But fuck did I want to hear what that 30th song could sound like. Now, to be honest, the first 3 days started out pretty rough. A big reason I actually posted that video was to kind of force myself to do it. And that's exactly how it felt. Kind of apprehensive, I guess. I actually haven't made music or made anything new for 2 months, which meant that naturally I was going to overthink all my ideas. I ended up getting into a vibe and making this kind of like sad lo-fi beat, but you'll see my reaction in a sec.
I'm embarrassing myself. I'm done. I'm done. Nobody showed up.
That's day one, I guess. Even though I kept telling myself I knew I wasn't going to make good stuff to begin with, I kind of expected myself to. So when day 2 came around, I had listened to a podcast with Fred again the night before, and I actually got quite inspired. For a brief moment there, I was letting my ideas flow. What makes you think it's so right? What makes you think it's so wrong? Wow, it feels so good to have made something that's like, that actually feels alright. But of course I couldn't just take that win and move on. I'm completely copying all of Fred's techniques, from the synth into the auto-tune vocal into the sampling, everything. Day 2 was done, but that self-consciousness was creeping up on me. I'm proud of myself. And spoilers, something was gonna happen on day 3. Now, these ideas don't sound that bad, do they? But I couldn't hear that. Up till this point, I was just constantly worrying what other people would think about every single idea, and that's pretty natural when you haven't really ever made stuff on camera. But you just can't create in that environment. I knew that if I was going to do this for 27 more days, something had to give. Okay, that's 2 hours of not much. I am not happy with that, and I know I can do better. So I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna come back and maybe start something new, or maybe do that, and then that will be the actual track for the day. Now, maybe it's because the cameras were off, or maybe it's because I wasn't actively trying to think of an idea, but after lunch I came back with a voice note which would change the course of this entire challenge. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not overthinking this. You can see by the lighting here that it was super late at this point, and I was tired, and I didn't really give a fuck, which allowed me to actually just follow that voice note wherever the melodies would take me. Now, don't get me wrong, the end product here wasn't amazing, but that was the point. For the first time in this challenge, I didn't care. I'd let go of the need to appear like some creative genius who shits gold every time he sits down. I make bad stuff, and my process is clunky, and I didn't care. Now, most artists do everything in their power to hide this. They only release their best work, they never show their process, and some of them do it to keep up their brand, but the other ones who don't give a fuck about that do it just because inside their creative process, they're more raw and vulnerable than anywhere else in their lives. Take one of my biggest creative inspirations, for example, Mac Miller. There's not much footage of him on the internet making music, and here's why.
I don't know how comfortable I am making a beat on live. I actually think I'm very uncomfortable. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I'll ever do this again. I think it's probably one and done.
So coming into this challenge, I knew I'd have to fight this vulnerability, but this was the first time in the challenge I was realizing I would have to fight it every single day. But this was the first day that I actually beat it, and it felt pretty fucking good. Okay, that's day 3, Seb's version. After that, on days 4 to 8, I made some fucking bangers. Something about letting go on day 3 had allowed me to just like explore the ideas that were interesting me, and believe it or not, that leads to making pretty good music. I did some of my best piano improv on day 4 and kind of just laid down some vocal layers without thinking too much about it. And it worked.
I don't know why you're waiting for me. I don't know why you would implore me to stay here. I was just feeling a bit more self-conscious in the last few days, I think, and struggling to make some good stuff. So I thought maybe I'd just jump straight into it without talking.
On day 5, I let myself explore new sounds without any expectation, and it turned out beautiful. And since the previous day when I decided to just lay down some vocals without really thinking, I tried it again and it really worked, and I felt like I was starting to open up more with that. Of course, though, I couldn't get through a good day without shitting on myself a little bit.
Some cheesy lyrics over some very basic melodic house stuff, but it's a vibe.
Even my chords were getting a bit better because I was starting to take some creative risks with the harmony.
I'll probably call this one here, because I'm out of condition. I'm really happy with that. It's an actual melody and it's got actual direction and the chords have intention. I did end up sitting down and working for almost 4 hours, but I mean, I got into a flow and it felt good. But yeah, what's that, day 6 complete?
And then day 7 happened.
So I was thinking of doing my first 1 hour challenge, but I woke up with the idea of making like a Frank Ocean type thing, which may not be the easiest thing to do. That's lovely. Oh, it's so sweet. What if we sped it up? Yeah, I like it. The hardest thing to do is turn you around and kiss you on your head goodnight. These days I don't know if I'ma live to see your diamond lights. You're such a motherfucking know-it-all, but I know you know I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if this is mega stupid or if it might sound good. We will soon see. Right I think it's been better when I've been waking up with a clear idea of what I want to make. I think I'll finish this song. Okay, I shouldn't take this for granted that I'm making things which I like.
Why'd I have to say that? Since I'd let go on day 3, it had meant that I'd been actually exploring areas that were inspiring me for about a week now. And that meant that I was going really deep every single day, and then by day 9, that was just too much. After 2 full hours, literally all I'd done was dive deep into a cool chord progression. And usually that would be fine, I would just move on or I would make something small, but I had committed to making a song every day, which meant that by the time I finished this song and then finished the edit, it was super late in the evening and I was fucking tired. Now, obviously one late night wouldn't have been a problem, but since the start of the challenge, fatigue had been building up day
It's almost 10 a.m.
after day
It's like 10:30 already.
after day.
It's later again than the last few days. It's 11:30.
And I was seriously starting to wonder if I could keep up this pace for another 3 whole weeks.
The theme of this video is kind of been me being like, oh, I need to have a break, and then me just like getting really deep and then having fun, and then meaning that I have to edit till like 10 p.m. or something.
I didn't start the challenge with years of editing experience under my belt, and when I started, I vastly underestimated how much time it would take every single day, and it was rapidly catching up to me. But I kept powering through, and on day 10, I decided I needed a change of scenery, so I headed outside and made a cool little house vibe, and then came back inside to do some songwriting. The issue was almost that I was getting into like too much of a vibe. Like, look at my hair here, and look at the lighting, it's super late in the day, and I still had to do the edit. On day 12, I made another cool lo-fi vibe. And then on day 13, I made this sick worldly house vibe, which was kind of inspired by the yoga session that I had that morning, which was themed Earth. I was honestly doing really well at this point to just keep pumping out music with whatever inspiration I could find in my life.
Oh my god! Yes!
But after pumping out one more on day 14, marking the midway point of this challenge, I decided I couldn't run from the fatigue and the lack of inspiration anymore. I packed my bags and went in search of a change of scenery.
Teen caught with $24 million worth of meth at Sydney Airport. Apparently he got paid $1,000 US to do that. Worth 24 million.
1,000. Fucking hell, what's the maths on that? What percentages you got?
Guess the percent.
0.02.
0.0041. My guy literally gets paid 0%. He gets 0% commission.
Going up the coast to my mate's place was exactly what I needed. I got that much needed recharge on energy and inspiration, and I developed a really good routine. After making my coffee in the morning, I'd set up in the living room to make my track.
Enjoy the butterflies. So one day they'll give you their wings and leave.
And instead of editing it straight after, I'd push that into the evening, which would give us time to go for a surf during the day.
Look at these sets that are coming. It's a little bit of a tough session on the tools. We got slightly punished.
It was just as intense, and in some ways more intense than the other days, but it came with a clarity and like a freedom of mind which I had desperately needed. And I found out that the initial fear of going away was for nothing. I was able to actualize my ideas up there, and I didn't need my entire studio of things. And it actually meant that the ideas that came out in a very different way than they would have when I was in the studio. I was working hard, battling the fatigue, and having fun with it. And I was finding a place of play again. Oh yeah, and here are the tracks that I made in those 3 days. But of course, after 3 perfect days, it was time to come home. Now, going away felt like it had tackled the 2 big problems that were building up in this challenge. But there was one thing that I just hadn't addressed yet. Think back to these feelings I had earlier in the challenge.
I don't know how comfortable I am making a beat on live.
It showed up on day 9 when I didn't fully understand it. I think one of the reasons I got into such a rut today is because I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to write songs as opposed to make them. And then on day 18, that's where it really reared its head again.
But you never meant no wrong, you never had no one, you never thought you did, because you're just a kid, and this is not the life you're meant to live.
Yeah, that track was something, and people in the comments also noticed that change of mood, but I don't think they fully grasped where it was coming from. Listen to the lyrics of the song that I made on day 9.
That's enough. Got my bluff. I've been lying through every single one of my teeth. Might just leave. After all, I was the one who put it right there on my sleeve.
That's a song about being found out as an imposter. Despite all the amazing support I got early on in the series, there was just one comment that was out for blood, and I let it bother me. On day 9, I intellectualized it. But in reality, that morning, I was stifled because, once again, I was worrying about what people would think of my music. Now back to day 18, and this song was also a response to those feelings, except this time it came out in anger. And while I thought that I dealt with the feelings back on day 3, this was the point where I realized that it ran a lot deeper than that, and it was only going to become more of a problem as I got closer to the finish line. I couldn't run from this one. I was going to have to face it myself. But believe it or not, I had more pressing issues at hand. I'm releasing a song on Friday. And also next Thursday, I have my last exam ever, which would get me a degree. I knew these were coming before I even started the challenge, and I identified them as things that could potentially derail it. I'd fully expected them to suck my time and energy away from the challenge, but a combination of the systems I've been building and my newfound skills at songwriting kind of meant that I just pumped out the songs.
I literally have 5 minutes left on the clock from my 60-minute timer, but I think it's done.
Honestly, maybe it was because I didn't have time to overthink it over these next 2 days, but the songwriting turned out pretty fucking beautifully.
Fuck!
Oh yeah, and that happened.
Cigarettes roll in the parking lot and picking up photos to feel alright. Because it's really not right how you felt that night when the oil runs dry, you don't burn so bright no more. I want you on my own, but I can feel that you wanna move. I wanna feel the way that you are my love, and I wanna feel the way that you and I love.
Okay, here we are. Gonna do another 2-hour challenge.
I gotta run and be I gotta wanna say, I gotta wanna say, I gotta wanna say the right thought of you. I gotta wanna say, but are you gonna be honest with me? I've been losing sense, because forever's been a long time coming. I don't know if you're coming.
I just want to thank this one comment from one of my previous videos. It kind of helped me be a bit more free with my songwriting. Yeah, I think I overthink way too much, and just seeing that someone else was like, fuck it, just put down whatever, just help me get stuff out, and then things kind of happen from there.
And for songs 22 through 25, I set myself 60 minutes for each song. And I just pumped them out through the exam week. Before I knew it, I only had 5 songs left to make in the entire challenge.
That's day 25. Fuck yeah.
It was looking like I would steamroll through day 30. But surely it couldn't be that simple, could it?
Yes. Good morning, gamers. I just finished my exam yesterday. I'm glad to have a little bit more time to be a bit more intentional with this track, I guess. Come in, take down some summertime. Time doesn't fly, I'm sleeping. Oh my God, I wish I'd listened. I don't care about no one's mission. I wanna be there again. 'Cause we were scared, we thought we might miss it. Now I surrender and I admit it. I wanna be there.
If you'd asked me 26 days ago to write you a song just purely based on an emotion that another song gave me, I'd have had no idea where to start. But here I was, sitting in front of my own work and just feeling it. I'd come a long way. This is why we make music. These are the moments we're looking for. We're not looking for the perfect sound, we're looking for the honest emotion. And this is what it looks like when everything falls into place. But the danger with days like these is sometimes you can't help but start to expect that from yourself every day. And that's just not realistic. Now, as much as I didn't want to, I started building up day 30 in my head. It started to feel like if I didn't make something amazing like this, then the whole challenge would have been for a waste. And as we've seen earlier, that's not a great environment to create in. But on day 27, I continued with the songwriting and wrote something just as inspiring.
But I don't know, it seems a little bit abrupt. Look at all the time you wasted right in your head. When you take your time away from me, the way you say you greatly need it. 'Cause I'm a wreck, you see, I run this crazy city that's at war inside my head.
It's kind of catchy, bro. I'm actually quite happy with that for like how fucking I've been feeling.
And on day 28, my songwriting urges continued.
I can never say yes. I can never admit I didn't do enough for you.
I usually, or in the past, wouldn't have had that urge necessarily to like write something, which is great. Yeah.
Like, this was awesome. Like, I wouldn't have traded this for the world, but it all meant that by day 29, the pressure of writing full songs day after day after day became too much.
I am tired.
So on day 29, I went back to the comfort zone and made some house music.
It took me 30 minutes to sit down since the last shot. I think I'm like building up this last video in my head, being like, oh, it's got to be something amazing because it's the last fucking couple tracks. I don't know, let's see. You're all I need. You're all I need.
Now don't get me wrong, I put in fucking effort here, like, I put in so many details with the drums, I worked on some really cool chords, and for all intents and purposes, the track turned out great, but despite all of that, this track just didn't feel like enough. I really didn't want to make something like this on day 30 because the fact that I hadn't done any songwriting at all felt like I wasn't doing justice to the skills which I'd learned along the way. And on top of that, I was becoming more and more conscious of the fact that more people would watch this last video than had watched the last 3 weeks. I was scared of day 30, and I was also aware that being scared would make me make worse music. I had made 29 songs in front of a camera at this point, and there was still a chance that I let my self-consciousness hold me back on day 30.
I mean, compared to day one, we're getting there. I've been trying to act like I don't know. While the cigarette's out and I can try and not say no. I can see you right through your door. I could lead a life I don't know. But is it really worth all this crying? Really worth all this crying? And the lives we live disappears away like the rain in the waves flowing up your wrists, up
your wrist. Oh, the way you sit, drifting in the breeze like the leaves on the seas, knowing what love is.
I can't even be mad at this point. That's just so absurd.
I can feel the life I've undone. In 30 minutes last night, and I can see you right through your clothes. There's something in your eyes that I know, but is it really worth all that crying?
If I only learnt one thing throughout this entire challenge, it's that I, and probably all of us, can never actually fully stop caring about what other people think of us, or what we make. We're evolutionarily hardwired to care, and that's a good thing. It helps us make friends, and it helps us make things that touch other people. But what I've also learned is that we can accept that we care, and then decide to follow our curiosities anyway.
I can feel the life I don't know, and it's pulling me sideways. I can't see the light anymore. If I could read your mind, then I'd know that I couldn't have better timing. I can feel the life I don't know, and it's pulling me sideways. I can't see the light anymore. If I could read your mind, then I'd know that I couldn't have better timing.
If we can actually accept and then be okay with the fact that we care what other people think of us, maybe that's the only way we can actually pursue the things that light us up. When I sat down on day 30, I made a decision to follow that melody that was going around in my head. I didn't push it in a certain direction, and I didn't kill it because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I didn't know where it would take me, and I didn't even know if it would be good. And I didn't care. I was just excited to see where it would go. And ironically, that led to me making my favorite song of the entire challenge.
Dude, that's really good. Day 30 is done. I can't believe I completed the challenge. I don't know what to say. Oh my god, this one was really good. I thought I was gonna make some bullshit today.
Obviously, because I wanted to make this a digestible video, I couldn't include all the audio from all the songs or all the footage of me making stuff. But that's okay, because there's over 3 hours of footage of me making every single song, and I'll put it in a playlist in the description, so you can go check it out if you want. If you're one of the people who was actually following along with the challenge as I posted it in real time every few days, I fucking appreciate you. Thank you so much. Drop a comment, because I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a like. I would really appreciate that, because it took a lot of effort, as did the entire challenge. And feel free to hit subscribe if you want to see a bit more of me. This was easily one of the hardest things I've ever set myself to do, and
I'll probably call this one here, because I'm out of conditions doing it all on the point.